What's up, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most important topics when it comes to getting into shape: how to burn fat. Now, we got summer coming up right around the corner. No one wants to be fat at the beach. So let's address this head on, and let's talk about the most important things you can do to lose body fat. People overcomplicate this stuff, and people focus on the things that aren't important. So I'm going to walk you through what you need to do in order to get shredded for the summer. And also, I'm going to show you what I do. Now, surprise, surprise, I don't do much differently from what I tell you because it works. It's basically the same system, no matter how experienced you are with working out. But here are basically the important things to look at. Number one, how many calories you're eating. You need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight and burn off body fat. I don't care what anyone else tells you out there. Carbohydrates don't make you fat. Eating too much fat doesn't make you fat as long as your calories are controlled. So focus on your total calories, and I'll show you how the rest of this stuff will take care of itself. So let's start with something basic. There's a lot of calorie calculators online you can use. I just pulled up a random one here. I'm going to use it as an example for this video, and I will go ahead and link it down below in case you want to use the same one. Now, keep in mind, any calorie calculator you use will have margin for error. It's taking a lot of variables, and it's figuring out how many calories you might need to eat given your situation. However, not only is the estimate based on the variables you put in, which could be inaccurate, the system and the equation it's using to calculate how many calories you need to eat could also be inaccurate relative to the person. So this is just going to get us a starting point. We're going to figure out how many calories you need to eat in a day. Eat that many calories daily for about a week or two consistently. And then as you're weighing yourself each day, weigh yourself first thing in the morning, after you use the bathroom, and before you eat anything, so that you're getting a consistent number. So you're controlling how many calories you're eating, you're controlling your weigh-ins, and over time, as you weigh yourself and you control your calories, you can see if you're losing weight over time and if you're moving in the right direction, how fast you're moving in that direction or not, and then make adjustments. It's basically you're running an experiment on yourself. You got to see how many calories you need to eat and what your body weight does in response to that, and then adjusting them in order to lose weight. So, okay, now I got that out of the way. Let's look at this calorie calculator here. I found this one on Google. It's just called calculator.net. And you're going to plug in your stats. It's going to ask for your height, your weight, your age, gender, activity level, the important stuff. So 26, I am 5'10", weigh about 181 at the moment. And for activity level, this is one where a lot of people get confused. So it's better to underestimate your activity than to overestimate. Far too often people think they're a lot more active than they really are. So look at the definitions down here. Exercise is about 15 to 30 minutes of elevated heart rate. Very intense exercise is 2+ hours of elevated heart rate activity. So for very active, that would be 2+ hours 6 to 7 times a week. So unless you're working construction or you're just training a lot, don't go with that. If you work in an office, sedentary, little or no exercise. So I work out usually at least an hour 6 days a week. So I'm going to go with active, and then we will click calculate. And so it gives you how many calories you need to eat. So if I wanted to lose 1 pound a week, it says I need to eat 2,301 calories a day. So I take that number, eat 2,300 calories a day, and see if I lose about a pound a week. Give it about a week or two to actually measure the progress. Now, something helpful to keep in mind, there's about 3,500 calories in 1 pound of fat. So in order to lose 1 pound a week, you need to create a 500 calorie deficit. So you see, to maintain weight, 2,800 calories. To lose 1 pound a week, 2,300 calories a day. So 7 times 500 would be 3,500 calories, hence the 1 pound a week weight loss. 2 pounds a week would be add an extra 500 calories to that deficit, and that gets you to 1,800 calories a day. It's a simple calculation, really. Doesn't always work that way in practice because there's a lot of other variables and it's hard to control everything down to the specific calorie, but that'll get you in the right direction. On a day-to-day basis, your body weight will fluctuate up and down, and it might be kind of sporadic. It might be kind of crazy, especially if you're first starting with this process. You might lose a lot of weight really quickly, then it might slow down. So just give it some time, about a week or two. Let's talk about weight loss stalls or weight loss plateaus. What do you do when you stop or slow down losing weight? First thing to do is assess. Are you actually at a wall, or have you eaten a bunch of food that week and stalled your weight loss because you're eating too many calories? Or is it just an off week? Sometimes that will happen from time to time. So give it enough time to make an accurate assessment. If it's been a week or two and your weight loss has slowed down significantly or completely stopped, then decrease your calories some more. Don't decrease your calories a ton. You don't need to do anything super extreme, but maybe another 300 to 500 calories, somewhere in there, to help further the weight loss, depending on how slow your weight loss has gotten or if it's stopped completely. So just decrease your calories slightly, or add in some more cardio, some more exercise to help you to break through that plateau and keep on cruising. So be prepared for these plateaus. They will happen and you will need to address them. But don't get freaked out. If you expect them and you know what to do when they occur, it takes a lot of the fear and a lot of the frustration out of it. But it will take some time to recognize when you're hitting a plateau and to take the correct steps to break through that plateau. Okay, so that's the most important factor. That's what's going to cause you to lose weight. Generally want to lose about 1 to 2 pounds a week for most people. The more muscular and the bigger you are, I'd recommend closer to the 1 pound a week mark. Now let's talk about protein requirements. Thing one, calories. That's what drives the weight loss. Now, number two, protein is going to help you to not only build and maintain the muscle you have. If you're more of a beginner, you can potentially be building some muscle mass while you're cutting down. The more advanced you are, it's less likely that's going to happen. But protein intake is very important to maintain the muscle you have as you are losing weight. So I'm going to go ahead and look at another article here, or another resource online. This is a website called examine.com. I'll put a link down here in the description below for this as well. How much protein do you need per day? So it's going to depend on a few things. It's going to depend on where you're currently at, overweight, underweight, and what your goals are. Are you trying to build muscle? Are you trying to just maintain? And so if we look here, assuming you're overweight or obese, here's the range of protein to shoot for in a day. You don't need to worry about your lean body mass or your body fat percentage for these things, so it doesn't have to be too complex. If you're a healthy weight and you want to lose fat, here's a range to shoot for. So if you've been lifting for a while and you've got some muscle mass on you and you're relatively lean already, or you're at least not obese, this is a good amount of protein to shoot for. So let's just put some numbers to this. So if you weigh 200 pounds, you need to eat, surprise, surprise, 200 grams of protein a day, up to 300. So that's your range to shoot for. Okay, and that's gonna help you. Wrong overlay. That's gonna help you to maintain more of your muscle mass and help you also to feel more full. That's the other added benefit of protein. Higher protein foods are usually more filling than low protein foods. Now, another thing to look at would be fiber foods. You want to eat higher fiber in your diet. That's also going to help you to feel more full. It's not going to directly help you with losing weight or anything like that, but it does give you more bang for your buck in terms of what foods you can eat. So think about things like vegetables and bran, oats, things that are higher in fiber. A lot of those foods are much more filling too. Still pay attention to the calories in them. I'm going to talk about some specific foods, and I'll have links to some fiber foods and some links to some other higher protein foods in the description as well. Just to name a few high protein sources that I like to eat: milk, tuna, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, chicken, turkey, ham, shrimp. You could even throw some beans in there. Beans are pretty good on protein and fiber. For other fish, tilapia, cod, salmon, eggs. How could I forget eggs? Eggs are a great source of protein. So those are some examples of some protein foods you can eat. And so then what after that? So we got the most important thing taken care of, calories. That's going to help you to lose the weight. Talked about protein sources and keeping a high protein diet. That's going to help you to build and maintain the muscle mass depending on your situation. And so let's talk about training and cardio. This is another complicated topic that people get very confused about. But to keep it simple, training, yes, lifting weights will burn some calories. However, the purpose of training and lifting weights is to build and maintain the muscle mass. Whatever you did to get the muscle in the first place, you want to do something very similar to that in order to keep and maintain it. You don't need to magically or change up your routine looking for some magic solution to get you shredded. You want to keep your numbers high as much as you can. Try to work to maintain as much strength and intensity in the gym as you can, so that way you're keeping the muscle. If you, for example, this is a common mistake. If you switch from lifting relatively heavy to all of a sudden you're going to do lightweight, really, really high rep, more cardio or endurance type training, that's not giving your body and your muscles a good reason to stick around. They're just going to adapt to that training, and they're not going to have the reason to remain at the same size. So keep that in mind. You don't want to dramatically alter your lifting program. Let's talk about cardio. So sometimes people get this confused too. If your calories are on point and you're losing weight, you don't need to do any cardio as long as you're losing weight steadily. Now, where cardio can be helpful is it can help you to burn more calories to drive that weight loss. So as your calories come lower and lower over time, the more you lose weight, the less food you can eat. So by doing cardio, you can eat more food, you burn more calories, and it can help make the process a little bit easier. However, you don't need to start off with a ton of cardio, and you don't always need to use cardio, especially if you have an easier time losing weight and you already have a hard time building muscle. I would keep the cardio pretty limited in those circumstances. And then there's lots of different types of cardio. At the end of the day, there's not going to be a significant difference between HIIT cardio, fasted versus fed cardio, low intensity cardio. Cardio is cardio. It burns calories. Focus on how many calories you're burning and what works best with your lifestyle, the time that you have to exercise, and also what impacts your lifting. So if you're doing a bunch of high intensity cardio, HIIT training, where you're just pushing it really hard and you're getting sore and you're not able to exercise the next day, that's when you're doing too much cardio. So that's why you can use different forms of cardio, maybe throw in some walking from time to time, maybe you ride the bike. Different things like that can help you to be consistent with the cardio and prevent yourself from beating the crap out of your body and taking away from your lifting. Because lifting is priority one. You got to make sure you're maintaining that muscle. And if you're just doing a bunch of cardio, you're missing the point. So what I like to do for cardio and what I like to do for my training, I'll just kind of transition now that we've covered all of these bases. I eat in a slight calorie deficit, and I lose weight gradually over time. So let me walk you through on my FitnessPal, which is, for anyone that's unaware, a calorie tracking app where you can track your body weight and your food and all that good stuff. Here is a graph of my weight loss for the past 90 days. 90 days. So I peaked at my last bulk roughly, what is this? Sometime the end of January or so. I started to taper my calories down. I was eating 4,000 calories a day. I slowly and gradually reduced it, and about February 14th is when I officially started my cut. So you'll see here, there's February 14th. Okay, peak of my bulk, I was around 193 pounds, give or take. February 14th, I had already come down a bit to about 189. And you'll see this is something that people get frustrated about. I lowered my calories on February 14th. I lost a little bit of weight, but then you see it shot back up. That freaks someone out. You can't look at those short-term fluctuations in body weight, because then given another week or two, my body weight went right back with losing weight again. So keep that in mind. Stick to the plan, give it some time, and then keep going with it. So anyways, gradually over time as I hit these plateaus, somewhere around here, I hit another plateau, and so I decreased my calories again, gave it some time, and I continued losing weight. And so I eventually dropped my calories from 4,000 at the peak of my bulk to right now I'm at 2,600 calories a day. And I'm weighing roughly, what did I weigh today? 180.6. So down, what is that? Quick maths. Close to 12, 13 pounds or so over that time period. And so that's decent, steady, consistent progress over a long period of time. And that's really what it comes down to. It is a struggle to lose weight. Not going to lie. You're going to be hungry. You're going to feel pretty bad at points. And the lower in body fat you go, and the lower your calories get, the more difficult it becomes. However, you can do it. It's a simple process to understand. It takes practice and experience to get really good at it, but don't overcomplicate it. Focus on, I know I went through a lot of details here, maybe this feels complicated, but focus on the important things. How many calories you're eating, eat your protein, and exercise regularly. The other thing I'll say about cardio, that what I like to do for cardio is I like to walk. I like to walk at a steady pace, consistently over longer periods of time. That way my heart rate doesn't get very high. That way I don't take away a lot of my energy. That way I don't get really sore, so it doesn't impact my training. And I would recommend doing your cardio at the end of your lifting session, so that way you're not taking away from your lifting session. Sometimes people go into the gym, they'll do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio, and they'll exhaust themselves, and then they do their lifting. And then at that point, not only you get tired from the cardio, maybe even a little bit worn out, your lifts are going to suffer because you're not going to have as much energy or as much strength. So don't do that. Do your cardio after you lift, or on a day off, or at a separate time of day completely from when you lift. Okay, so if you remember a little while ago when I was mentioning how carbohydrates and fats don't make you fat, well, point blank, pure and simple, they don't. Now, however, when you're controlling your overall calories, you're already limiting your protein, your carbohydrate, and your fat intake, so you can't by default just eat a whole bunch of those things. That's something to keep in mind. Now, on the screen here, in my Fitness account, I've got my diary settings, my goals. You'll see my protein goal is there, my fat goal, carbohydrates, and calories. And these are all based on a percentage of your total calories. So once you have your calories figured out, once you've got your protein in place, it's really just a simple ratio or percentage of whatever's left over for your carbohydrates and your fats. You want to get at least 20% of your total calories from fat. I wouldn't recommend going much higher than 40%, and then whatever's left can be carbohydrates. Now you can play around with the differences between those two, whatever you prefer. I personally prefer a little bit higher carbohydrates relative to the fats, and that's it. Most important is the calories and the protein. The rest of it, you don't have to necessarily hit exactly perfect, so I wouldn't overthink that. But hopefully that helps clarify what I meant. I think that's about all the topics I wanted to cover today in the video. I'm going to leave you with some posing. This is a physique update, and like I said, I'm down roughly 12 to 13 pounds from the peak of my bulk, and trying to get shredded. I'm going to work down to about 175 pounds and then probably either maintain or start to bulk up again to build some more size. This is a little bit of a longer-winded video. Threw a lot of information out there. Hope this was helpful to you. If it was, please let me know in the comments down below. If something was confusing, let me know and I can try to clarify. And feel free to join me on my Twitch live streams, by the way. I stream every single day except Sunday, so if you've got fitness questions in particular about your situation, maybe you're stuck somewhere and you don't know what to do, feel free to drop on by. I have links again down below in the description to my Twitch channel and all of that other stuff I mentioned in the video here. Hopefully this was helpful. Good luck with your weight loss progress, and let's all get shredded for the summer. I will catch you next time. Please like and subscribe and share if this was helpful. And have a good one, everyone.